Here's to whiskey kisses with peachy taste of sin.
It's whiskey time. Greetings, whiskey folks, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Drinking Out Loud. We are here in the Strat studio, and you are hopefully watching us on the Dram Association official YouTube channel, because I don't know where else would be. Anyway, this is a very exciting episode because, well, we are very important again, because all of a sudden, we're not allowed to have any in-person tastings as per the most recent health order here in BC. So hopefully a lot of you are watching along at the live premiere. So hi, say hello in the live chat. I will be there in the live chat because this isn't actually live. It's just airing at a specific time. So if you have any questions at all, please join in the live chat. Or if you're watching this later on tape delay, I guess, then please feel free to comment in the comment section just below. And I think for the first time in about 6 months, I'm going to remind you that you can also like the video if you want. Give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe, then feel free. And I'll wait another 6 months before I ask you guys again. So, Scotch Malt Whisky Society, if you're not familiar with what it is by now, then you could watch some old videos if you like. But the best way to find out more is to go to smws.ca, where they have all of the relevant information for the Canadian branch of this worldwide phenomenon. What we're doing here today is releasing some whiskies, as we do every single month with the SMWS. This month, though, is a little bit different due to some bureaucratic delays, let's say. We actually don't have the full expected OutTurn yet. So we're doing what we did once before, earlier this year, and we're actually going to split it into two. So today, we're going to have 4 new releases, and there will be 3 more new releases in an upcoming video in about a week and a half. So keep your eye on your email, members, and actually, if you subscribe to this video, you'll actually get a notification of when the next one happens. So you don't even have to worry about your email. You can just check it all out on YouTube. Yeah, so first whiskey of the day. What do we have? We have something called Time Flies and Fruit Flies. Not quite sure whether they mean like the insects or like throwing fruit. Either could be applicable. Let's take a look at the official tasting notes, shall we? And these are the tasting notes from the SMWS panel over in Edinburgh. For a refill cask, there is a surprisingly initial hit of fresh oak. Juicy fruit chewing gum and dried banana chips, lots of mango, pineapple, apple schnapps and fresh pears. Additional notes of toffee and coconut husk pop up as well. A wonderful, attractive aroma so far. Sounds good. With water, the age starts to show, and there's polished wood, dusty library books, dried exotic fruits, and hints of pine forest petrichor. And coconut oils. Just a quick aside, I think I mentioned this in a past video. I feel like someone at the SMWS discovered the word petrichor this year and is trying to use it as much as humanly possible. It's like the 9th time in the last couple of months we've had the word petrichor show up. Bold and mature beyond its years. Rancio, gentle waxiness, hot buttered scones, or scones, depending where you're from. Barley sugars, ginger sweets, and haylofts. Reduction evolves things towards honey and lemon tea. Caramelized oatmeal. Ooh, that sounds good. Belgian waffles drizzled with golden syrup, and pink wafer biscuits. Marvellous. Pink wafer biscuits is an interesting one. I don't know if they exist here in Canada. I guess I could ask some lifelong Canadians downstairs in the store when I've finished recording this segment, and maybe we'll find out. But the seemingly has no reason to be pink. They're not pink flavored in any sense. They're just kind of sweet wafer biscuits, and I've never quite understood the pink colour, but either way, they are delicious, and let's see if this whiskey is also delicious. I'm sure it is. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to crack her open, and then we'll go through the details as displayed on the bottle. Ooh, yeah. That's a good pop. Full score for the glug. All right. So what do we have here? 39.194. That's the official SMWS code. It is one of 270 bottles. And yeah. Smells great. It was distilled on the 24th of July, 2006. It is from the Speyside region, and it's from a refill ex-bourbon hogshead. Yeah, as it mentions in the tasting notes there, yeah. That does have quite the nose for a refill. Impressive. So yeah, 13 years aged officially, and it was bottled at 57.8% ABV. Got quite a lot of heft to it for a 13-year-old. Oh. Instantly on the banana chips. That was, yeah, dried banana chips. It's weirdly tropical. It's got the... It's almost like some of those granolas that you can get that have the banana chips and the little dried papaya and pineapple chunks in them. Yeah, I kind of get the granola too. I think they mentioned the caramelized oatmeal. I think in this, that's definitely, yeah, sweet tropical granola is definitely where I go with this. I have to say that the name is interesting because, you know, fruit flies aren't particularly great things. I personally wholly dislike fruit flies. I'm sure that's probably quite common. But this reminds me of a food fight and a particular scene in one of my favorite movies that I normally watch at this time of year, or did normally watch when I was a kid, Hook, when all the kids are throwing the fake food at each other. Flying fruit. Which I guess is more commonly occurs in old stocks where people are throwing fruit at people's faces. Slightly less fun, but yeah, that's got a great nose on it. Let's see how it performs on the palate. Wow, yeah. Tropical granola. Oh, shows right through on the palate here. That is really quite... Ooh, that's quite something. It's tropical granola, but you've poured a little bit of, I want to say like Fudgios or something in there. There's a little bit of a fudgy chocolate thing in there with the tropical granola. And not like actual chunks of dark chocolate like you get in some granolas. That's... It's not healthy chocolate. It's big sweet milk chocolate thrown together with piles of sugar. It's very unhealthy chocolate. Damn, that's good. Let's see what comes up on the palate here with a bit of water, because it is a little on the hot side, being, what was it, 57.8. Not as much burn as one might expect for that kind of ABV, by any means, by any stretch of the imagination, but let's see. Very nice. The nose mellows a little bit. There's a little bit more of a creamy custardy thing on the nose now. A little less tropical. Oh yeah, and the palate has all of a sudden become much more citrus. Less tropical fruit, more citrus fruit. I think they mentioned lemon tea. Yeah, honey and lemon tea. Yeah, I can definitely get on board with that. It's a little hot toddy-esque. And again, still, quite sweet. I've been asked a weirdly large amount recently for sweet whiskies, and I'm never quite sure. If it's not someone I know, I'm never quite sure if they're talking about an actual whiskey that, like a Scotch, like a good quality whiskey that happens to be quite sweet in profile, or whether they're asking for something like Fireball. Of course, I always try and steer them towards this kind of thing, but this is delightfully sweet. This is it feels naughty. I like it, almost like a food fight feels naughty. Very nice. So, for those of you at home who are, who've resisted the urge to Google what 39 is already, I will tell you. 39 is a distillery that I came to know mostly through the SMWS, actually, because there's very few official bottlings of this distillery. This is a Linkwood. And in fact, the only official bottling I've ever held in my hands of a Linkwood, I believe, was a very, very strange... I think it was like a 500ml red wine cask Linkwood that we had in the store very, very briefly last year. Actually, no, earlier this year, I think. That I didn't even make it to the shelves because I happened to mention it to a bunch of people at the whiskey festival up in Courtney Comox, and everyone in the room said they wanted a bottle, so it just... Yeah, I let them know when it hit the shelf, and it just kind of went. And yeah, it's a great distillery. I don't know why they don't do more official bottlings of it, to be honest. But it does mean that when we get an independent bottled Linkwood like this one, it feels much more special. And this does feel like a very special whiskey, I have to say. The last Linkwood we had in, which was actually part of our sale recently, we had the Gordon MacPhail 15-year-old Linkwood, which, whilst, was very good, I think it's only like 46% or something, so it's not presented at its best. This, I would say, is presented at its bloody best. This is a damn good whiskey. And an incredible price as well on this one. Speaking of price, I should probably tell you how the release is working this month, seeing as we don't have the in-person tastings. Some of you may have been dismayed. You may have gone to our website at 8 o'clock this morning to see if everything's up. To those people, I say, read your emails, because I will have sent an email to you saying that this month, because we're doing everything online, we're going back to how we did previously over the summer, and we're releasing it during the video. So you can check back at strathliquor.com/SMWS right now, and this whiskey should be right there. And if not, go to the search bar at the top and search 39.194, and it should be ready and waiting to be put into your shopping cart. And you can take this one home for $177.30. I think an absolute stunning price for a 13-year-old Linkwood. Yeah. So what do we actually have next? What do we have next? Oh, I know what we've got next. We've got the Kraftwerk Orange, and I think I like Clockwork Orange, and but I think I know someone that likes Clockwork Orange a lot more than me. So I think let's see if Brett's around. Hang on. I'm gonna give Brett a call right now, and see, I'm not going to do this weird thing where people pretend to have a phone call on video. I'm actually going to call him. Calling Brett Strath, and I'll try and blur out your phone number there, Brett.
Hello. How does he keep doing this? Whiskey. Nice. Hi, whiskey folk. I'm excited to guest for, I assume, the December OutTurn. Oh my goodness. This is a Kraftwerk Orange. Good movie, great band. Good movie though. I'm sure there's some official tasting notes right here. Let's get into those. An inviting initial nose of dusty malt bins, barley sugars, lemon cough sweets, and putty greeted the panel. Some softer tones like cafe latte, ground almonds, coffee and walnut cake, and caramelizing muscovado sugar followed on. An impressive heft and complexity we noticed. With reduction, we got notes of bitter marmalade, olive oil cake, delicate tobacco leaf, satsuma peel, and orange travel sweets. The lighter scent of geraniums in a potting shed. This is strange. Neat. The palate was nutty, rich, and rather heavy for this particular distillery. Peanut brittle, caraway, toasted sunflower seeds, and toffee popcorn were all notes. Scottish broth with a Hessian garnish. Water enriched the herbaceous aspects and added cornstarch, grapeseed oil, gorse flowers, hot wort, and freshly made muesli with dried fruits. Not bad. Not bad at all. I know the distillation date. I know it very well. In fact, how about a remake of some trivia? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's back. This whiskey was distilled the same month that I dare say the best tag team superhero movie was made and released in theaters. The Avengers. That's right. Classic Marvel movie came out, can you believe it? September of 2012 as this whiskey was distilled. That makes it 7 years aged at a whopping 64.1% ABV. I tell ya. Society cask number 89.11, one of 237 bottles. This is going to be an adventure. All right, well, let's go for that pop. Yeah, no, you always have to make that. Great sound. Glug. Not bad. Not bad at all. Oh my. So, Distillery 89, trivia for that one is they're generally known as the distillery that produces a gentle dram. And at this ABV, and especially with this nose, it's not overpowering, but I wouldn't call it gentle at all. Like, I do get like that cafe latte kind of aspect. There is kind of like a bit of a creaminess to the nose. Definitely ground almonds. That's a very good note because it's very nutty on the nose for me. But still sweet. All right, let's see what the palate has. You know what? I apologize. Even at 64.1%, that is still a very smooth dram. It just melts. It's rich. What was in the notes? Tasting sunflower seeds, toffee popcorn. Yes, absolutely. There's like a caramelized, almost like a buttery note that just percolates into the palate from the nose that is wonderful. That's very good. So this distillery, not to keep you all in suspense, or those of you who don't use Google, this distillery actually has a world record behind it. They have in their possession the world's largest single malt Scotch whiskey bottle. I know, it's weird, but it's 105.3 liters. It's massive. One that I would gladly see if I could try and fit in my house, as long as it's full, and maybe full of this. But that's enough for 5,230 drams, which that's a lot to share, and I'm happy to do so. All right. bit of water, and then what we'll do is we'll go into the important things like price and whatnot. But first, oh my goodness. That bit of water, you do get a lot more kind of that orange that they talked about in the tasting notes. It's definitely picking in jammy, like a light, almost peppery kind of like a jam spread to it. But okay. A little more floral. Actually, adding a bit of water almost accentuates the ABV a bit. It kind of like maybe resets you, but oh, that is a phenomenal dram. That is a phenomenal dram for being even 7 years old, from a distillery such as Tom and Towel, is wild. And oh, it's just a pleasure to have this. But the great news is I'm not the only one. In fact, you can buy it right now at strathliquor.com, as long as Adam got the message that I was doing this right now, for a grand total of $148.61. That's right, less than $150 for this bottle. Now, I will admit, you have to be a member to get it, because unfortunately, even after tax, it's not at that $180 price point. So this is for members only. But I'm sure you non-members will find something coming up that you'll like. In fact, the next bottle is probably around here somewhere. Where's the... Oh my goodness, that sounds amazing. Deep, complex, sweet, and earthy? Deep, complex, sweet, and earthy. Weird. You know what? When I think of deep and complex and sweet and earthy, only one man comes to mind. Pat Dunlop. I wonder how Pat's doing.
Brett, thank you for asking. I'm doing fantastic. So the next whiskey, as Brett mentioned, is deep and complex, sweet and earthy. This is whiskey 10.192, and I'll read for you the official SMWS tasting notes. So the initial nose of desiccated coconut and pipe tobacco gradually opens to lemon meringue pie, apricot flan, and rose bay willow herb in wasteland, with background hints of wood, licorice, and tar. The deep, complex palate combines sweet and earthy notes, butterscotch, dark chocolate, caramelized bananas, Eccles cakes, and ginger snaps, with tarry ship's timbers and salty pork scratchings. Water shifts the nose to straw, dried seaweed, celery, pepper, tunnocks, snowballs, and new fence timbers. The palate becomes easier and sweeter. Coffee and walnut fudge, toffee, brandy snaps, and dried dates. After 7 years in ex-bourbon wood, we transferred this into a second fill Muscatel hogshead. So yeah, a bit of an interesting finish on this one. Muscatel being sort of a sweet wine for those who might not be familiar. A bit of a dessert wine. So let's take a look at the bottle. Fantastic. So new label, obviously, or in the sort of newer, more current style of SMWS bottlings. Just take a look at some of the additional statistics here. So this was distilled the 27th of September, 2010. I can tell you that this whiskey hails from the Isle of Isla. This was matured in ex-bourbon, as the description sort of indicated, and then finished in a second fill ex-Muscatel hogshead. The bottling ABV is 60.8. This is a 9-year-old whiskey. Just sort of the condensed tasting notes that they put on here. Good toffee, fudge, and coconut sweetness. Heavier notes of tobacco, seaweed, tar, and fence timbers, just to sort of sum everything up a little bit for you. And this is a one of 243 bottles from this cask. And this Comes from a distillery that's very near and dear to my heart. One of my personal favorites. I'd put it in my sort of top 5 to very, at least top 10. This is a Bunnahabhain. So Bunnahabhain, Isla Distillery. Primarily, a lot of unpeated malt comes from Bunnahabhain, which is obviously counter to most of the regional style. They obviously do a little bit of more peated releases lately, which is pretty fantastic. And my understanding is that that's more in their sort of traditional style. Bunnahabhain, the word, it's a mouthful. It's one that everybody tends to have a hard time pronouncing initially. The name itself actually means mouth of the river in Gaelic, just as a fun little piece of trivia. So let's pop this open and dig into this Bunnahabhain. I can get the tab to work. There we are. Make sure I get this close to the microphone for popping purposes. Beautiful. Lovely nose. Nice, interesting, little bit of an amber, caramelly, sort of very, very whiskey sort of color to this. I really can't articulate it any better than that. Big and sweet, very rich, salty on the nose. Lovely sort of salted caramel sort of notes, things like that. Quite briny, very, very, very sort of seaweedy. Sort of hard to articulate all these tasting notes from a freshly opened bottle as I first crack it open. But let's give it a try just on the palate neat. See how I feel here. Interesting, yeah. Big chocolatey, raisiny, more fudgy, toffee sort of caramel notes for sure. Really impressive, long, lingering finish. Just more of that brine, that nice coastal sort of oiliness that Bunnahabhain's always known for. This is a style that's really one of my personal favorites. I really love, Old Pulteney, Bunnahabhain, things like this that are, not necessarily the big peaty bruisers, but have that sweet, salty, savory sort of interplay happening. And this definitely has that in spades. It's pretty well composed, I would say. I do get a mild little banana note on the nose for sure. Yeah, quite fantastic. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a try with water. I don't expect it's going to need a ton. It's despite the pretty robust bottling strength, I would say this is pretty enjoyable neat, to be honest. And this is actually my first whiskey of the day. So as you can see, I'm at work. Oh, really nice change on the nose with water. Definitely some more of those savory notes as the tasting notes sort of indicated. A little bit herbal. Sort of driftwood sort of notes coming through a little bit. Yeah, maybe lightly sort of floral as well. That's really quite interesting. I'll give it a little taste after the addition of water. It's definitely changed. As I sort of was alluding to, I didn't think this was going to need a lot of water, and I feel like I probably liked it a little bit better on the palate without. So for anyone at home who does purchase a bottle of this, do tread a little bit lightly with your water additions. It's still nice, but it's really, it tastes just more wood driven to me. I've got to say it's interesting. I don't get a lot of whatever maybe the Muscatel is bringing to the party, particularly with the addition of the water. I'm not really entirely picking up anything on that front. Yeah, still quite pleasant, drinkable. more just wood and sort of vanilla notes with water. So do be careful. Really fantastic whiskey though. Really nice little all-rounder. If you're a fan of this style, if you're a fan of this distillery, this is just a quintessential sort of example of a really lovely little Bunnahabhain. So without any further ado, I will announce that as of this moment, right now, this Bunnahabhain is available for the price on the web store of $186.87. Best of luck to you all. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Pat. And thank you to Brett as well. Back to me for the final whiskey of this half OutTurn. We have 3 more whiskies coming in about 10 days, so keep an eye on your inbox for more details to come on that. And this is going to be an interesting one. As you can see, I've got the crystal cut Glencairn at the ready, and that can mean only one thing. We've got a black label. What is this black label? Well, it's called a thigh slapping dram, and here are the official SMWS tasting notes. The nose: brandy snaps, cafe noir biscuits, dark toffee, Oddfellow sweets, licorice treacles, molasses, and crispy mackerel skin grilled over peat. The palate: visceral sweet smoke, burnt twigs, raisins, dark chocolate, and lapsang souchong. A mouth-filling, lip-smacking, cockle-warming, thigh-slapping dram. The nose turns sweeter with water, maple syrup, and brown sugar, but there's a coal fire in wood-panelled room, or a bucket and spade on the beach by a tarry driftwood bonfire. Now the palate balances maple candies, treacle toffee, and sugar-coated fennel seeds with pipe dottles, medicinal notes, and tying leather thongs with your teeth. You can provide the backstory. Now, I just want to mention, you can provide the backstory as the part of the official tasting notes, and that is a very odd tasting note. By leather thong, I assume they mean the Australian word for a sandal. Although that's also a weird thing to be tying with your teeth. Either way, we'll leave that to your imagination. This is a thigh-slapping dram, and a thigh-slapping dram is a black label. It is 33.138. Yes, 33.138. So a lot of people already very excited at what a 33 is, and if you don't know what a 33 is, I will be letting you know quite soon. I'm about to make you even more excited, though, because this 33 is 12 years old. It is one of 615 bottles. Now, I know some people are like, well, why does that matter, If anything, that's more bottles. Doesn't that make it less rare? That's a bit weird. Oh, no. This makes it more rare, because the reason for that many bottles is that this was matured for its entire maturation in a second fill ex Oloroso butt. Magnificent. It was distilled on the 24th of May 2007. It is, of course, from Islay, for those of you unaware yet of what 33 is. Oh my, this is from the Peated Collection. It is 60.9% ABV, and I have been looking forward to this moment since I found out it was coming. Here we go. I also want to apologize to both Pat and Brett that I get the honor of doing this one. It's just how it worked out. I was going to do the first and last, and this is the most peated. I have no way of changing it. Don't worry, I'll give him a little sip. But this is going to be quite memorable, I'm sure. Oh, look at that colour. That is absolutely glorious. So why am I so excited about this whiskey? Well, I'm so excited about this whiskey because 33 is a distillery that I have a bit of a weird relationship with. A lot of people go absolutely nuts over some special editions from this distillery, and I never think they're actually anywhere near as good as their standard editions. And one of the things that makes one of their standard editions so incredible is their use of Oloroso casks in part of the blend. But I don't think I've ever had, I'm fairly certain I've never had, a whiskey that was entirely matured in Oloroso casks from this distillery. And I can't wait to find out the effect that has had on this whiskey. Oh my goodness. Wow. So, harken back to what I was talking about official bottlings. So, actually, first of all, I'm just going to rip that Band-Aid off, which is a good note because it smells a little bit like Band-Aids. This is an Ardbeg. An Ardbeg. Oh, an Ardbeg. Yeah. Interestingly enough, even though the SMWS was for a while owned by the same parent company as Ardbeg, we very, very rarely get any Ardbeg as an SMWS bottling. It's very, very rare. Rare as hen's teeth, as my Yorkshire forefathers would say. We had a very, very special Ardbeg released late last year, early this year, that was only ever available in Canada at festivals. But seeing as, a lot of festivals are being cancelled right now, and actually, side note, at the time of recording, we're still planning to have the Victoria Whiskey Festival. We're still hoping that we still have faith that the current situation will improve with the new restrictions, which we're obviously in favour of the restrictions that will be helping keep the COVID-19 situation under control. And we have faith that people will stick to those restrictions and that the restrictions will help so that we are able to have our festival in mid-January. So we are still planning to do that. For more information, up-to-date information, please do keep checking the Victoria Whiskey Festival website for more details. But we're hoping it will still go ahead. But obviously we'll only do so if we have the approval of the local health authorities, and we will be doing everything that we can here in Victoria to make sure that if you do take part in the festival, that it is safe for you. The folks that run the festival are they're used to they're used to a lot of regulations, and this year is a little different in those regulations, but they're still very much used to jumping through hoops to make the festival happen. So we'll see how it goes. It smells divine. So yeah, as I was saying, talking back about official bottlings, that's for those of you who aren't aware what official bottling is, that would be when a distillery releases a whiskey under their own name with their own branding and whatnot, usually bottled at the distillery or at a bottling plant owned by the distillery. This reminds me an awful lot of Ugadal on the nose, and Ugadal is one of the best Islers. It is right up there. It's probably my joint favourite Isla official bottling that's in regular release, that and the Lafroig Law, which is funny because we actually had a Lafroig earlier this year, which reminded me an awful lot of Lafroig Law in the SMWS, which is just like a perfected Lafroig Law. This smells like a better Ugadal, which is something that I didn't know could happen. Rich, smoky, burnt raisins. So not fully burnt, I should mention. So imagine a butter tart where the raisins are just poking up a little bit through the sugar, and that sugar has got a little too hot and singed. Just a little tip of the raisin, maybe 10 to 15% of that raisin got a little bit too hot and got a little bit burnt, but the rest of the raisin, that's where all the sugars got condensed, and you've got this beautiful sweet with a little bit of ash kind of taste going on, and it's just, that nose is unbelievable. It's like a butter tart with... It's like a butter tart that someone is... You're smelling freshly baked butter tarts, but someone's also set some rosemary on fire and is wafting it in front of them for some reason. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm not waiting any longer. I'm going in for a sip. Oh my. I get the leatheriness. I'm not sure about the thong, but certainly in the leather. It's like a firefighter's Doc Martens. It's like chewing on the tongue of an old pair of Doc Martens that have been treading through burning buildings for the last 10 years. Not the soul, because that's disgusting. The tongue. It's not actually been touching any feet. Don't worry. That is absolutely glorious. And the interesting thing is I get the fennel they're talking about. And usually fennel for me is very, very similar to licorice. You know, it's that anisey, fennel-y kind of a flavour. This is all fennel, no licorice. It's a really interesting experience. It's like it's managed to capture what makes fennel different from anise or from licorice and has separated it and distilled it. Oh. This is a whiskey worthy of its black label. I can assure you, that is. Oh, man. This is special. And I know a lot of you guys at home already know how special this is and are already chomping at the bit to get yourself a bottle of this. So, we're going to make you wait a little bit, though, to find out if you can. Because this is in high demand, and because we actually only got 6 bottles here at the Strath, and I believe the other stores, so that's Legacy over in Vancouver, that's Keg and Cork in Edmonton, and Kensington Wine Market, of course, in Calgary. I believe they also had a very limited amount of this. What we're doing is we're all decided, all 4 stores are doing this. We're doing a lottery for this one. And to make sure that it's as fair as possible, we're also coordinating to try and make sure that if a member were to enter more than one lottery, they can't win more than one lottery. So yes, if you are a person that will, you know, say you live in Vancouver, but you sometimes visit Victoria or you use our online store, then I don't think we can stop you from entering both lotteries. I don't think we have the technology for that, although maybe we will. But we certainly can stop you from winning both. So there's a good chance. There's not a good chance. There's a chance that that members can get a hand on a bottle of this, but 2 bottles is out of the question, I'm afraid. Because this is unicorn whiskey we're talking here. When was the last time you saw an Oloroso cask 12-year-old cask strength single cask Ardbeg? For the vast majority of people in British Columbia, it's probably never. I don't think I ever have. This is something absolutely glorious. Oh, yeah. So how the lottery is going to work here at the Strath, much like we did with the Lefroy's earlier this year, we're actually going to put a dummy product up on the website that has, you know, all of the details of the bottle, but just says the word draw at the beginning of the name. And you can purchase that for $0. So we say purchase, it doesn't cost you anything. And by doing so, you will be entering the draw. So we'll have a list of everyone that purchased the free product, and then we will draw from that list. At the time of recording, we haven't actually discussed the finer details of how long we're going to keep the lottery open for. I think we're going to try and coordinate it so it's open for the same amount of time across all 4 stores. I'm not certain on that point yet. So take a look in the live chat for up-to-date details, or just take a look at strathliquor.com. If you search for 33.138 or search for a thigh-slapping dram in the search bar at the top, or just go to strathliquor.com/SMWS, you will find it there. And if you don't find it there, it means that the draw has already taken place. So, yeah. If it's there, the draw's still happening. If it's not there, the draw's no longer happening. But yes, it will also say on that page when the closing date of the draw is. So, good place to check out for up-to-date details on it. The price, you probably are wondering. It is a black label, but it's one of the lesser expensive black labels that we've seen in recent times. It's not going to be outrageously mind-blowing like some black label whiskeys can be. This is, I think, a very reasonable price for what this product is and the rarity of it, of $396.43 here in BC. $396.43. So yeah, take a look at strathliquor.com right now, where you can get all 4 of these newly released whiskies, 2 of which I haven't even tried yet. So I'm looking forward to going and giving those a sample at some point soon. You'll be able to see my tasting notes in the live chat, I'm sure. But yes, please take a look at the following screen of all 4 newly available bottles. Head to strathliquor.com/SMWS to purchase them. And we will see you very, very soon for part 1 of the Snake Pit 3. That is our new Blackadder releases. You'll be seeing a video in the next few days pop up for that. Thanks for joining in. We'll see you next time.
Well, my name is John Stewart. I'm a Carnegie man, and a roving young fella I've been. So be easy and free when you're drinking with me. I'm a man you don't meet every day. I've got acres of land, I and men at command, and always a shilling to spare. So be easy and free when you're drinking with me. I'm a man you don't meet every day. Well, I went with my dog and my gun for to shoot all along the green banks of the Tay. So be easy and free when you're drinking with me. I'm a man you don't meet every day. I'm a piper by trade and a roving young blade, and many a tune I do play. So be easy and free when you're drinking with me. I'm a man you don't meet every day. Let us control the hours and the minutes that fly, and we'll share them together this day. So be easy and free when you're drinking with me. I'm a man you don't meet every day. So come fill up your glass with fine brandy and wine. Whatever the cost, I will pay. So be easy and free when you're drinking with me. I'm a man you don't meet every day. I'm a man you don't meet every